Welcome to Tulsa Titans, highlighting our local business leaders who are making a difference. On this episode, I'm excited. I've got Wendy Qualls with Burrow Post Frame. She's the VP. Wendy, how are you doing?
Great.
Let's start. Just introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Wendy Qualls, and I've been at Burrows for 7 years. And currently at Burrows, I do accounting. So I'm the controller here at Burrows. I also do HR and culture. It's something new that Burrows has really jumped into in the last about 4 or 5 years, is really building our culture. And that's something that I'm just super excited about. And that's what gets me here every day. So.
Well, perfect. And to get us started, because we're still in the first quarter of the year, just kind of coming out of it, actually, what are three things that you've been intentional about this year? And then what are three things that you're looking at maybe giving up?
So three things that I've really been intentional about, is just more family time. I think with COVID, we all, realized that was something that we were really missing. So just spending more time with my family at home, I've got teenage daughters. So just, getting them, I have one that's getting ready to start driving. So spending time in the car with her, just, learning driving, that's been great. So that's something that I've really done more of. Something else that I'm really passionate about right now is just learning more about myself and others and our personality traits and how we have, hardwired cognitive abilities. So I've really been studying. So if that whole subject is an iceberg, I'm at the very, very tip top of that iceberg of learning. But we have at Burrows have an assessment that we use that's personality traits and hardwired cognitive abilities. And so just really learning about myself and, the rest of the people here at Burrows and how we're going to interact. And then the next thing that I've really been working on is intentional communication. So being very intentional about what I'm talking about and how that is interacting with the other people. And, it's just something that we teach at Burrows on like first day you're here, you get to learn about our intentional communication and then practicing that within the organization. Some things the biggest things that I'm consuming less of would be social media. So deleting those apps off my phone, like just deleting them, like done. I'm done with them. I'm just done with, I hardly ever watch the news. It just irritates me no matter what channel I watch. So, I've really consumed less of the news and just more of trying to, understand the facts. And then, something else I've really been working on is worrying, honestly, like, fear, worry, just really trying to push that down to where, I'm just going to think about what I'm doing right now, how it's going to affect, I can't change yesterday. I can't predict tomorrow. So, how am I going to work on, right now where I'm at, being more in the moment?
No, that's wonderful. And I know a lot of people deal with anxiety, fear, or worry, kind of those categories. So as you've identified those things, and I think a lot of us can say what you just said, right? We can't change tomorrow today and we can't go back. What are some practical things that you've done to really help you overcome that?
So some of the practical things that I've done are, for me, I have a high sense of I have a high sensitivity to stress. So what I've found is, for me, planning my day out, those are things that I know, or even planning my week. So I can actually say, okay, on Monday morning, here are the list of things, I can prioritize my kids, my work, everything that I have to do. What do I have to do? Lay it out on a calendar for the week. And I know, okay, I have it all. I have all the bases covered. It might be Thursday afternoon. I have, Kellen Friday at 2:00. That's great. At least I know I have it and I have it planned. And, for me, that's the biggest thing that has helped me, is actually laying out and, just knowing exactly what I'm going to do.
No, that's so good. And then, for anybody struggling with that, I'm not naturally really organized. I love being in the moment. I love kind of getting on a high when I'm in meetings with people and really just being present at the sacrifice, those long meetings, some other things. And that builds the anxiety. I actually bought a planner called the Full Focus Planner by Michael Hyatt. And if you hear what Wendy's saying, but you have trouble saying, well, how do I outline that and even start? It builds that same framework that's helping you into that
Mhm.
curriculum.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one, it's called the Christian Planner. And so, it kind of helps you do the same thing. And so I love, it's perfect for me.
That's wonderful. Both good tools.
Yeah.
So outside of planning, you said you've been able to shed some of the accounting duties, right? Which is wonderful,
Yes.
and be more creative and more present in some of the bigger things. What's something else you do daily that allows you to be present and a quality leader?
So I get up in the morning an hour before the rest of my household gets up. And when I walk through the living room, there is a sign that's intentionally set so that when I walk in the living room, it says start each day with a grateful heart. And it just reminds me every morning to start the day, no matter, if I'm getting up to work out, if I'm getting up to have, study time, Bible study time, just time to myself, that 1 hour of really reflecting on how am I going to be, what am I grateful for this morning as I get up, and how am I going to look for the day. So really that hour before the rest of the house is up is my hour to just really center myself and understand who I'm going to be that day.
No, that's wonderful. I do something similar. I'm up about 5:30, and we're talking. I've got a 3-year-old, and so she wakes up whenever she wants to, but getting up before everybody helps to ward off some of that anxiety. And I've
Yeah.
also found if you don't get up and just start, so the people that grab the smartphone and start with email, and I've been there with that blue light. It almost, you think about whatever it tells you to think about versus setting your mindset. So I love the fact that you have a morning ritual.
Yeah, I leave the phone in the bedroom for that hour. I don't pick my phone up. It is literally quiet time for me. However I do it, whatever that is. I kind of have a weekly schedule that I do. So I just, that's just my quiet time.
Well, no matter how disciplined you are, one of the things I want to ask is some of those days just aren't going to be perfect. They're going to kind of feel manic. Nothing goes according to plan. When my plans get messed up, it bothers me because I had a
Mhm.
plan. It was on my calendar, right? So what's your why? Even when the day is not perfect, or it's a long week and things don't go according to the plan you laid out, why are you getting up? Why are you optimistic? And why are you engaged?
Well, that's a great question because there's a ton of answers to that. So, for my family unit, my why is truly, my purpose statement, my personal purpose statement is to lead people, to lead people to Christ, and so that is really truly my personal mission statement. So every day, that's got to be my why. It's got to be, what am I going to do today to put someone a little bit closer to Christ. And so for my family unit, that's that. For my business and professional life, the reason why I get up is I have 70 employees that depend on, coming to work and having a safe environment to work at, to have a safe place that they can come and, voice their opinions. Um, you know, we have employees here that are helping in the community, you know, all those kinds of things. Like, that's my why. Like, I have 70 employees that are depending that we're going to, even though I've shed some of the accounting duties, I still oversee them. So we got to make sure that the bills are paid and all that kind of stuff, because that's dependent on, on what we're doing here. So that's my why, just to get our people engaged and, here and taking care of those 70 employees.
When as you've grown in business and at home, who's somebody that you've followed, watched? Who do you admire?
Hmm. So I actually have someone that, I truly admire this person. And she's a lady that I met 10, 15 years ago. And she has brought me such great joy in showing me that you can do a lot with not much. So it really took that materialistic, made me think about materialism completely different. So whether or not it's ministering to someone or, mission trip, or even, in your household, how to be a mother. You don't have to have a lot of things to be a great parent. Parents, at one point I thought I have to have all these things. I have to buy my kids this stuff. I have to do all this thing. And she really taught me that your kids just want your time. They don't, want, everything that you think that you need to provide to them materialistic. They really just want your time. And this lady has really taught me that at an early age, that, as a young mother, trying to struggle through, being a new Christian and, being a new mother, and how do you, being, a working mother, how do you combine all those things? And that is something that she really taught me, is, to really set aside materialism and just be there in the moment for your children.
That's wonderful. You and I were talking kind of off the recording about kind of going back. You have teenagers and I have littles.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that we go, man, at 30, or at 35, we're doing these things finally, and we're getting to show them those things early. It sounds like your mentor did that for you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So,
That's kind of my thing, is I want to teach my kids early what I learned late. And that, I talked about that a little bit, and that's, now it's, as they're teenagers, I'm trying to show them these things and model those things, because, teenagers aren't going to listen to you. You don't know anything. But if you at least model it, they'll think back, hey, I remember mom used to do this, kind of thing. So
and on modeling, so you model that for your girls, because teenagers know it all. And so they'll have a reference. Do you do the similar thing in the office? I mean, so you're over culture and communication. How are you pushing the core values, these tests, communication throughout your culture?
living it and being humble. Anytime I feel like I'm in a difficult situation and I'm going to have to do some communication, my first thing is to state the intention. I'm here to be a better communicator with you right now. Please help me use our intentional communication tools. So just being humble, letting them know that, hey, I'm going to make mistakes. There's going to be things that, might happen, but please let me know. But just living those core values, we have 5 core values in our purpose statement, living it every day. And let me tell you, those guys out there, they'll tell you, they'll point it out when I walk out there without my safety vest on. You don't have your safety vest. I said, thank you for calling me out for not having my safety vest on. I will be back. They will. It's great.
I love how you own that. Are there similar things that you're doing in your culture? I mean, I know some leaders, when they're caught off guard like that, wouldn't say thank you. So give us a couple other good little nuggets as you've taken over culture that you see have really worked throughout your organization.
So we have, like I said, we're big on communication. We're just, we're looking at that. And so when we have someone that has, let's say, if you have an office full of people, you're going to have miscommunication issues. You're going to have, people that maybe they're having an issue at work between 2 people. And, they'll come to us and say, hey, I'm having an issue with Kellen, and, we're not getting along right now, whatever the case may be. Great. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's go have a conversation with that person. And so just being the facilitator so that they can communicate and talk things out and figure out what's going on. And, normally it's just a miscommunication. Oh, I thought you meant this. And just being a facilitator versus, okay, Kellen, what do you think? Okay, Wendy, what do you think? Like going between, just let them talk it out and let them understand that they can have that feedback with each other. That's one thing that we do. And, a lot of people think that's weird and kind of strange and like, oh, I'm going to have to actually face that person and talk to them. Like, yeah, you are, because that's what we need to do, is to really, you guys have the conversation and not me. So I don't want to create drama. That's one thing. Our core values are care on a personal. One of our core values is care on a personal level. I can't even count the number of times. I mean, literally just yesterday, I had someone that said, hey, I'm getting ready to my vacation time's getting ready to run out. Like, it's the time's up. I have 14 hours. Can I donate it to, they had someone that they needed to donate their time to. I mean, it's just, everyone is, we care about each other, and it's just time after time after time again that we are, helping of each other, and our employees a million times help each other. We always have food of some sort. We're out in the middle. We're between Muskogee and Tulsa, so there's not really anywhere that people can just run to grab lunch real quick. We always have some sort of food at Burroughs for lunch, because we've realized we had employees that were going without lunch because they couldn't just run and grab something. Maybe they didn't bring it. Maybe they don't have money to eat out of the vending machine, whatever the case may be. Might just be ramen noodles, but we have something that everyone, you can eat something, because we don't want you to go without. And, the goal is let's have hamburgers every day, so that's a goal for us, is we don't want to just have ramen noodles. We're gonna have hamburgers every day, so that's one of our metrics. Once we get to a level of success that we can do that, we'll do it.
If you guys have hamburgers every day, I'll start coming by more.
Yeah, exactly.
So one final question, and I love that you're not done learning, right? You're embracing some new titles. You're learning and digging into those. Tests are deep. We run them here, and I go over those tests with somebody that's done it for 20 years, and they still take the time of the 100-page test. So that's a big embark. What are two books that, if you had time to go back through, let's say you had two books, what are those books, and why?
So the book that I'm in right now, it's sitting here on my desk, and I'm in it every day, and I'm writing notes in it. It's called No Bad Hires. It's by Chuck Russell, and it is the assessment test that we use. It's his book, and it talks about renting job behaviors, and how we want to put the right person in the right seat to be successful. So I do not want to put whatever your job strengths are. That's where I want to put you in this company, whatever, your job strengths are. I don't want to put you in a position to set you up to go home and be stressed. I don't want to put you in a position where you feel like, oh my, at the end of the day, this place is stupid. I'm there, I don't want to come. I want you to go home and enjoy your family. Like when you get home, I don't want you to go home and go straight to bed because you're stressed. So let's put you based on your strengths in your position. So that's where No Bad Hires has really came in. It just helps me to, as I have questions or I don't know, maybe what someone's strengths are, I can go back to that book. So that's one that I'm really in right now. The other book that I really do need to go back, and I love that you asked this question, because I do need to grab it back off the shelf and get back in it. It's called Never Split the Difference. It's Chris Voss. I love that book. We use it part of our communication tools. I mean, we incorporate pieces of it as well. And so that's when I actually need to go back and reread that one. So,
well, if you could read that one time and glean everything from it, you're smarter than I am.
No.
Yeah, no. Book.
Yes, it is, but it's great. It actually works. I don't know if you've tried any of the tactics that are in there, but we use them. We actually use them with customers a lot, and they actually work.
That's so cool. When in your position, I'll add one more. I need to go get the author, but it's called Moments, and I'll send it. And it's about, so it was really cool. They highlight a hotel, and this hotel, a lot of celebrities will go to, and it hasn't really even been renovated. It's just middle of the road. But when you go there, they find out unique things about you. And let's say you're in their pool, right? They're going to bring your favorite flavor of popsicle on a silver platter to you while you're in the pool, right? They create these special moments, and it's been tested, like at Disney World. How was it? Well, your response to that is going to be the lowest or highest moment while you were there.
Yes.
Right? So how do we start incorporating those intentionally through our organizations? A really cool book.
Yes, I think maybe I've read that. I can't remember. I don't remember it being called Moments. Maybe that's in another book, but because they also talked about, I remember the popsicle, and then I was thinking about the bank. So once you hit like 100 deposits or something, you create the moment, if I remember correctly, and like you get an email or something that you just made 100 deposits or something like that. I don't know if it's in that same book, but I love that one too. That one's a good one.
It's the power of moments. I just took
Yes,
the notes out.
I believe I did that one on audiobook. I'm not as good as audiobooks of remembering. I'm more of a visual, like I like the book, and because I usually highlight and write and all that kind of stuff. So I think I did that one on an audiobook, but yeah.
Well, and how blessed are we that depending on how you learn, you can learn. You can read and highlight, you get an audio book. If you're like me and there's certain books that you want to test out, they have like the Spark Notes of audiobooks now that you can
Yes.
listen to. So super cool.
Yes.
Those sound like some great books. Well, Wendy, if somebody wants to ask you a question or has something for you and get a hold of you, what's your preferred method of communication?
Yeah, email is usually best. So it's wendyq@burrows-supply.com. More than welcome to email, and I'll answer any questions.
Well, perfect. Well, everybody, thank
Yeah.
you. This is Kellen with New Wave Solutions. I'm one of the partners here. And Wendy, thank you so much. It was a great interview. We appreciate you giving.
Thank you.